JJ, it's obviously been a really wet morning here in Southampton. What was the team able to get up to?
Yeah, obviously a bit of wet weather around. It's a little bit frustrating. You kind of can't get outdoors, but yeah, a few of the girls, it was sort of a top-up optional session today. So we were in the indoor centre. Batters hit a lot of balls. Some bowlers did some drill work, target bowling, a little bit of bat versus ball. Nothing too over the top that, yeah, sort of just looking to top up and try and stay fresh.
Is that weather frustrating at all when it's a ground not too many are familiar with, or do you just trust the process?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of trust in the preparation we've already had, both over here in England, but also from back home before we got on the plane. And yeah, a lot of the girls have been here to the UK a number of times. Obviously, yeah, not necessarily out on this venue, but I think as cricketers we find the rain and wet weather frustrating at the best of times. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you kind of can't get too caught up in it, and you just got to, yeah, like I said, just trust the preparation that you've done prior to this point.
And how is the mood in the group after the last few games?
Yeah, well, we're obviously pretty disappointed and pretty frustrated in our own performances as a group. That yeah, obviously for the last few games haven't really put our best performances out there. But in saying that, there's a lot of fight in our group as well, and we hold a lot of pride in our I guess our record as a team as well. That we've won a lot of games of cricket. It just so happens we've lost the last three, which it's not ideal, but at the same time, it's sort of there's still an Ashes to win and there's still a series to win, and that's first and foremost, that's at the front of our mind.
Just a few weeks ago, the idea of England winning 5 on the trot to win the Ashes would have seemed pie in the sky, but after 3 wins, how worried are you?
Not concerned. Obviously, yeah, the scores are level. We haven't played our best cricket, which is probably the thing that we're focusing on the most. Yeah, obviously England still need to win 2, but equally we're trying to win the last 2 as well. It's sort of, there's 2 high quality sides, and if you're not on any given day, then the opposition's going to take the game away from you. And even though the losses we've had have been really, really tight and really close, we kind of feel that it's been our own undoing in a way, that we've been a bit sloppy in certain areas and lacked a little bit of discipline at times in terms of extras, missed fields and what have you. But the positive is that's all in our control. And as a group, that's what we're focusing on, and yeah, making sure that we trust our processes, and ultimately then, yeah, the result will take care of itself. What will be, will be. So
no sense of panic?
No, definitely not. Like I touched on before, this side's won a lot of games of cricket over a number of years, and yeah, the fact that the last 3 haven't really gone our way, there's no cause for panic. The sun still comes up the next day, even if it is behind clouds, but yeah, there's no panic. It's just more a bit of frustration internally and individually as well, that the little things that we want to tidy up as a group, but then equally what we can bring as individuals to that overall improved performance.
Yeah, you've not lost 3 in a row since I think the Kiwis back in 2017, so this must be a new experience for you. What was said after Bristol?
We sort of left it for a little bit. It was one of those things that we knew that we didn't play the best that we wanted to, and that's sort of been a bit of a theme over the last couple of games. And yeah, it was one of those things that we didn't want to read too much into the situation. We obviously brought the game back from the brink almost, in a sense, with how England came out, and were obviously ahead of the game throughout that whole batting innings in Bristol. So yeah, for us to show that the fight that we did and take the game as close as we did was something that we were still pretty proud of, but equally knowing that yeah, we didn't really give ourselves the best possible chance to win the game right from the start of our bowling innings as well. So yeah, it's small and minor things, but in elite sport and in professional sport, it's sort of those are the things that can impact the result at the end of the day.
And you say you have to win the last 2. I mean, just winning 1 and retaining the Ashes wouldn't be enough for you, would it? You came here to win the Ashes, not to retain them.
That's 100% correct, yeah. It's obviously it's all well and good having held the trophy coming into this series, but as a group, we were always coming over here to win the Ashes. And yeah, it's sort of we always go out on the field trying to win every single game. And yeah, these last two are going to be no different.
And what sense do you have of the excitement around the country? Because the series is turning into quite an epic one now. Sold out here on Sunday, sold out on Tuesday. It's a great outlet, isn't it, for the sport?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, the crowds have been fantastic, and that's, as players, that's what we want. We want sellout crowds. We want people to come and watch and be entertained and be inspired. And obviously, yeah, we knew coming over that England crowds can be quite loud and quite boisterous, and you know they're never going for you. But equally, the crowds have been really respectful and just enjoying the game of cricket. Obviously, very loud when England are doing well, and as a home team, that's what you want. And that's something that we really relish in as well, that we try and get as up and about as we can, and we try and make sure that we do whatever we can to silence the crowd. But equally, we want to be entertaining, and we want to win games of cricket as well. And yeah, the growth of the women's game has been incredible, and long may it continue.
And just on tactics at Bristol, spin wasn't used until the 13th over. England did really well in the power play. Is that something you're going to look at, for this game?
Yeah, probably. I think we do a fair bit of work in terms of matchups and whatnot as well, and obviously it's probably going to be slightly different conditions out here as well. It was a pitch suited to the slower type of bowling in Bristol, and from all reports it's normally a pretty flat track out here at the Ageas Bowl. But yeah, I think as a group and as a whole that we're just going to look to try and adapt a bit better, even if it is the seamers that are bowling for those first sort of 12, 13 overs, whatever it is, that even if the England squad are coming hard like they're probably going to do again, that we're able to adapt a little bit quicker than we did the other day.
Another England winner 4-0, with those set it up rather nicely for Taunton, wouldn't it?
No, I'm not about that. Obviously, it was never the intention to keep it this close and this entertaining, but yeah, in saying that, I know come Sunday it's going to be another good show, and hopefully it's an Australian victory.
Thank you.
Jess, just on the spin stuff, 28.1 overs of spin the other night. Do you see potential for a fourth spinner in the side and more overs of spin given the success that you had stifling England's sort of through the middle overs there?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Like I said, sort of that pitch was probably just really conducive to the spin bowling, and I mean, we saw in the England side they only had the two spinners as well compared to our three. So I think it's just a matter of whatever the bowling makeup is, that we adapt to the conditions as quickly as we can and work really well together as an entire bowling unit. Not sure what the makeup of the side is going to be from now, but I'm sure if the weather sort of dries up a little bit at different points and we can get a look at the wicket, then a further decision will probably be made in and around that.
I'm not sure how much you've looked into it, but the leading bowler here this season in domestic cricket is a left-arm orthodox. Do you see spin as key again to the match out here on Sunday?
Look, it probably will be. To be honest, I think the key for us going forward is probably going to be how we start with the ball. And it's sort of how we can build that pressure right through that. Yeah, I mean, if successful bowlers, you've got to look into what type of bowling it is, but equally you've got to look at the situation of the game that they might have come in at as well. They could have come in when off the back of the opening bowlers doing an incredible job and building a lot of pressure and what have you. So it's sort of, there's a lot to sort of take into it, but yeah, I think as an entire bowling unit, whatever that makeup is, it's just going to be trying to adapt and be really disciplined with what we put out there.
Has that changed your role at all? Obviously, England going quite hard at the start during this series in the white ball stuff, getting on top early. Has that changed your ability to perform your role, and I guess other spinners as well coming on into the game, I guess, earlier with England on top?
Not really. I think, to be honest, like with a lot of short form cricket, you're used to the batters coming hard at you, and I guess with the 50 over cricket, you've got more fielders out for longer periods of time as well. So it's one of those things that you take it on when it comes your way, and equally we've got so many different options, so many different plans that everyone's really comfortable with their role and what's required. That we know that England have a lot of batters that go pretty hard at it, and I know personally my role doesn't really change. And if it does, then that's when things are going to start going pear-shaped, that if I go away from my role and what I do best for this team, then it's not going to be the best thing for the team. So there's no panic stations, no nothing. It's just literally being a little bit more disciplined as a collective.
Was it a bit of a, sorry, just one more. Like the other night, we've seen you countless times before, final death overs come in and just sort of restrict and win the game for Australia. Was it a bit of a surprise that England kept going for it the other night, even though it was 8 wickets down? They kept trying to take on the bowling and hit boundaries and ended up getting over the line.
It wasn't a surprise. I think, if anything, it probably could have been a little bit of nerves even, that we knew as a group that the longer and the deeper we took the game, the more likely things could potentially shift our way. We just wanted to keep fighting, keep battling right to the end, and we knew it wasn't an easy wicket. Sort of as soon as the ball got old, the pitch was sort of on the slower side. It was doing a little bit that if we stayed nice and disciplined with where we were bowling, and the wickets sort of came out of nowhere sometimes, and we felt that if we were able to sort of restrict or take Heather's wicket, that we were well and truly right in that game. And I mean, to their credit, they sort of hung in there. We were probably 20-30 runs short with the bat in the end, but in saying that, it's sort of from the start that they had with the bat, to be able to even think about a runs versus balls scenario, it was pretty incredible fight back for that back half of that innings as a bowling group.
Thanks, Jess.
Sam, obviously you haven't played here for quite a long time, but Talia McGrath spent a bit of time here at the 100. Have you had any chats to her about what this venue's like?
Not really. Not going to lie. So it's sort of, there's been a little bit of talk, just mainly in and around. I think Alana King played a few of the 100 games here as well. That it was sort of a pretty flat wicket and whatnot. But who knows, with the wet weather that's been around the last few days, it could be a little bit greener, a little bit more movement, a little bit slower. We're just unsure, but we're confident with whatever makeup our side has that we'll be able to produce a result, and hopefully a positive one this time around.